Welcome back to the Cedi Investor. Now, if you've invested in the Ghana stock market for a while now, you realize that one issue that a lot of investors face is lack of options. There's not a lot of companies listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So, you can do a lot of valuations, a lot of analysis, but you're still stuck with a short list of companies that you can eventually invest in. So today I was thinking about it and I was like, are there actual companies, like private companies in Ghana, I wish were on the Ghana stock market? So in today's video, I've come up with 5 companies. These are great companies I wish were on the Ghana stock market. And I also give you my thoughts on if I would have invested in them or not. Let's get into the video. So we'll start off with the first company, and that's Melcom Group Limited. This is one of the biggest retailing companies in Ghana. I'm sure every Ghanaian has heard of Melcom Group. If you haven't, I don't know if you are living under a rock. They have locations almost everywhere in Ghana you go, and their products and services, I would say, is quite affordable as well. Now, without much research into the company, you would assume it's just a retailing shop where you go and buy your goods and services, but it's more than that. The company actually has a lot of diverse parts, and it's great. Let's go through it. The first major part of the company is the one we all know and love, and that's the Melcom Limited. There's literally nothing that you need that you go into a Melcom shop and you would fail to get, from large purchases like furnitures, TVs, washing machine, like almost every form of appliance that you think of, you probably get. But not just that, but also the wholesale things like groceries, deodorants, the body cream, and all those things. Anything you think of, you'll probably get it. The company also owns Centuries Industries Limited, which its objective is to create or produce high quality plastic products at affordable prices. There's also Melcom Travel and Tours. The last one is Melcom Care Foundation. So all in all, I think it's a great company. A lot of Ghanaians shop there. I think they have also one of the best online platforms in Ghana where you can do a lot of shopping and a lot of I think it has a great interface when it comes to its online shop. So overall, I think it will be a great addition to the Ghana Stock Exchange. Now, since it's a private company, it will be quite difficult for a retail investor like me to get their financials. So maybe I can't really talk about how profitable the company is since I don't have any record, but I'm sure they are. Up next, we have another company, and it's Newmont Corporations. Newmont Corporations is the biggest gold producer in the world, and they have a subsidiary in Ghana, which is called Newmont Ghana. Now, we all know Ghana is a gold country. We are, of course, the Gold Coast, one of the biggest producers and exporters of gold. And I think Newmont Ghana is a big contributor to that. Even when we take a deeper look into Google, you can see here that they said the company is Ghana's largest gold producer and contributes to the national economy through job creation, community development, and responsible environmental practices. They operate in Ahafo region, where there's a Ahafo mine, and they also have an Ghacem mine as well, which is situated in the eastern region. So looking at all of this, I think the company I can compare Newmont Ghana to is Anglo Gold Ashanti. It was for me one of the best dividend stocks, even though when it comes to stock appreciation, that's a different story. After all, gold is Ghana's biggest resource. So just to share in our profit, I would like to see Newmont Ghana on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Moving forward, we have Ghacem and Diamond Cement Group. So this is to represent, cement companies. If you look at Ghana, infrastructure is never ending. We are always building infrastructure, real estate, commercial properties, businesses. And even if you look at the price of cement, it's always rising and rising and rising. So looking at the demand side, it's never ending. There's always going to be a use case for cement. And if you look at the other side as well, where the prices are always going up, and the two biggest cement companies in Ghana is Ghacem and Diamond Cement. These are the two biggest companies when it comes to Ghana's cement industry. So having any of them listed on the Ghana stock market, just to represent, I think will be a great option for investors. Up next, we have Despite Group of companies. Now, we all know the man, we all know the businesses, I thought it was before I was doing my research for this video. I thought Despite Media was like literally the only company, his YouTube, UTV, the Peace FM, and all those TV FM stations. But I think it was more than that when I went through it. So we have a breakdown here. Apart from the media businesses, which we all know of, he also has, his non-media businesses, including food and beverages. So he owns this way. That's one of my favorite drinks. Just to add that in, and he also owns the Neat Food business. I never knew that, which includes Neat Fufu, Neat Auza Kuku, all those things. I've never tried it. Don't think I will, but there's a market for that. The finance side is where I'm a little iffy about the best point savings and low. I don't think that's a good business. I'm not saying the business model is bad, but I think that business in itself is not profitable. At least that's what I think. I think there are other better, lending services, especially when compared to best point savings and loans. So maybe that side of the business is not as great, but there's also a mining side as well. So there's a lot of businesses in there. Now, out of all the companies I've listed already, I think this is my least favorite one. I'm not even sure if this was listed. I would personally invest into it, but I think, it's an option for investors, and depending on the type of investor you are, I can see some people investing into these particular businesses, especially even if you look at their media side. I don't think I'm a consumer of any of these business products, including Peace FM, OKFM, UTV, but there's a customer base for it in Ghana. There's people who watch it, people who listen to it. So yeah. Personally, I don't see this as something I would personally invest into if it was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. But I think I can see people who would, want to go for this. And, there's also a lack of variety when it comes to media or advertising companies on the Ghana Stock Exchange. And I think this could be a good option. And lastly, I've combined all of these together to say savings and loans companies. Now, so I've given my options here like Fido, Bayport, Letshego. Now I think the most realistic options would rather be Letshego and Bayport Ghana. Even though Fido is popular, I don't think they have the amount of money on hand compared to Letshego and Bayport. I think Letshego and Bayport are much bigger companies. They have a much bigger market share and moat rather than Fido. Fido does not really have a huge amount of money to work with. So I think that the more realistic one that would probably list on Ghana Stock Exchange would be either Letshego or Bayport. I did a video recently going through Bayport's financial statements, and I was very, very impressed, honestly. Very impressed. Their NPL was very, very, very low, meaning they are giving out efficient loans. And they are also giving out a lot of loans. More people are, taking out loans and, starting to pay back. I mean, if you don't give it to the right person, the chances of you getting your money back is very high still. But then, the culture is gradually shifting. And as Ghana is also moving towards a low interest environment, I think these companies would benefit way more because people are more likely to pay back the loan since the interest, will be on the lower side. So I think companies in this sector will be companies I would really like to see listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Now, as to which of the companies will I invest my money in, I can't really give a solid answer just because most of these companies are private companies. They don't really give you any information about their financial states. So you don't know if they are actually making money, losing money, because they are private companies. But let me just say, maybe from the surface level, the ones I really do like, and I would really take a closer look to, and if everything was okay, would likely invest into them was, I would probably put Newmont corporations at number one, just because I think I'll see this as a company that will have a very great dividend yield as well, and also consistently paying dividends. The second one will probably be Melcom, big retailer, great online shop, everyone uses them, and I think they are everywhere, strong dominant mode. Third one, Ghacem. I already gave my reason. Cement is always going to be needed just because infrastructure is never ending, real estate, all these things, buildings being everywhere. Obia building, everyone is building. So despite I don't really see myself investing in this, and this will probably be my third bet, just because I still would rather go with investing in banks rather than savings and loans company. But then I do see this as also a solid bet, but I'd rather just go with banks as well, because banks are more dominant, they have more capital on hand, so more stable, I would rather say. So I would rather go with banks rather than them, but it's a solid bet as well. So that's the end of this video. Let me know what you think about all of these companies. I think I had fun making this. If you guys love this type of video, let me know. I'll probably do a part 2 and less more companies. Also, comment down below what you think. If there are any companies in Ghana you probably want to see on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Thank you so much. Comment, like, subscribe, and share to people you think might be interested. I really appreciate that. And see you another time.